let's discuss mutually exclusive as well as an independent event under probability. When you say something is mutually exclusive, what it means in general is that the two of them cannot occur at the same time, right? So just like saying you are eating at the same time or defecating. So sorry for that if you are eating and watching this video, right? So those two things cannot happen at the same time. That's also you say you are mutually exclusive, right? No, it can be possible, right? Those two things can be possible. And then the independent, as the name suggests, is to mean that you should be on your own, right? You don't depend on anybody to survive. So that is also another point. So let's look at these two terms and how to apply that in probability. So let's have a look at the first question to demonstrate that. From the question, we are given two different events, right? So we are calling those events A and B. The event can be anything, right? It can be a play, it can be anything you can think of, right? It can be watching a telenovela, it can be football, something of that nature, right? So you have two different events. So let's name them A and B. And then they say the union of the two. What it means is that the union of the two, when you combine the two of them, right, their probability. So the chance that the two of them will happen. So the chance, this is the probability, right? The chance that the two of them will happen. That is what we are giving. We are giving that to be what? 11/15, right? So it means that if the two of them will occur, then the chance is what? 11/15, right? Okay. Now if it is 11/15, they say we are giving one person, one part, right? The chance that just one person will happen is what? 1/3. That's the chance that A will happen, right? So let's say the chance that you play or you watch football today is what? 1/3. And then the chance that you watch a football at the same time you go and watch another telenovela, then it will be what? 11/15. Now we are giving one, we are not giving the second one, right? We are giving the first one, then we are not giving the second one. They say you should show that or you should find the second one if the two of you are mutually exclusive. That is what the question is saying, right? If you should find the second one if the two of you are mutually exclusive. So as I said earlier on, mutually exclusive means that the two of you cannot occur at the same time. So you just have to know the definition or the meaning of the mutually exclusive. What does it mean for two things to be mutually exclusive? When you say that in probability, this is the tools that you have to use, right? When you say the two of you are mutually exclusive, what it means is that the first person plus the second person, as I said earlier on, the two of you cannot occur at the same time. So by assumption, I don't know the reason why we are combining the two of you. If that is in the case, I know that the two of you cannot occur at the same time. Then let me split you guys into two, right? So I split that for the first one, and then this is for the second one. This is just an assumption for understanding the mutually exclusive, right? Okay, so now we are giving this, the state should find that. So this is very easy, right? So this is the tool that you have to have that at your disposal if you want to know exactly what a mutually exclusive is. They say the two of them are mutually exclusive, so meaning that the two of you cannot occur at the same time. So here you can see that on the left hand side you guys are being combined together, but at the meaning of the mutually exclusive, that you cannot occur at the same time. So let's split the two of you apart, right? So this is the first person there, so this is the second person. So the remaining things that you just have to replace. I know this guy, what is the chance for the two of you to happen, right? The chances of 11/15, right? So what does it mean? So this 11/15 means that this is equal to, right? So that's what the first person, the chance that the first thing will happen. So the chance that maybe you watch a football today, that's also 1/3, right? 1/3 being given from the question, and then plus the chance that the second thing which we have not been given. That is what they say you should look for, right? Because the reason is that the two of you are mutually exclusive. Okay, so here this is very, very simple. So you just have to do your calculation, right? So how do you do that? You send this guy to the other side, and then that will be 11/15 minus 1/3, right? So 1/3, that will be equal to the second person. Is that okay? All right, so let's move on. So when you do, you know how to do this. So this here, you just have to find the LCM right? You find the LCM. If you don't know how to subtract or add fraction, just comment that below, right? So you do the subtraction, you find the LCM, and then you arrive at 2/5, right? So the chance that the second thing will happen is what? 2/5, right? So these things, the probability of A and B, you can just replace them by any of your hobby. Okay, so the chance that the second one will happen is 2/5, right? So that is very, very simple. So let's look at what the second part of the question. The second part of the question says that we should find the second event when the two of you are what? Are independent, right? So that is the second part. So we are done with the mutually exclusive. So let's look at the meaning of the independent. So as I say earlier, on independent means that you should be on your own. You don't depend on anybody, right? So if the two of you are happening, and then we don't need anyone to depend on what? The other guy, right? I don't want A to depend on B. I don't want B to also depend on what? On A. What does that mean? What does that mean? So you see, look at what is happening. You know that the chance that the two of you, right? The two of you will be independent. What it means is that since look at this one, look at this guy here. They are combining the union. This symbol means what? The union is being combined together, right? We don't want this. We don't want this, right? We don't want this. By assumption, right? We don't want this because we want anyone to be what? Independent. So what it means that let's split them. We are going to split them. So this is the chance that the first person, and then this is the chance for the second person, right? Look at what is happening here. We are still combining them. We don't want that, so let's take away the first event, and then we multiply that by the second one. So this is the two, right? This is the two. So in this way, you need a tool to solve most of a problem in the real life, right? So just like you need a kitchen staff to do your preparation or preparing food and other stuff, right? So you need a chair to sit on. That is the tool for you to sit on it. So the two here is, so if the two events are independent, also what it means is that the union of the two, right? When you combine it, you should split them into apart, right? So that is the first person, and then plus or the second event, and then we take away because we want them to be independent. So let's take away the first person and then multiply that by what? The second. So this is just a very simple tool that you have to use. So we are combining them first, and then we are splitting them, right? We are taking them up one by one. So okay, now the rest is just to replace. You just need to replace. We have been given this thing in the question. That's also 11/15, right? So that's 11/15. And then what is P of A? The chance that A will happen, the chance that the first event, or the chance that you watch a novella today is what? 1/3, right? So 1/3. We are giving that plus. Are we giving this? We are not giving this. Is that okay? We are not giving this. Okay, so that is so we just maintain that that's the chance that the second event will happen. Minus what? Minus, look at what is happening. Minus the chance of for the first part. So that's 1/3, right? So being multiplied by what? The second one. Is that okay? So you just need this one. You just need this guy to proceed. Is that okay? So when they say the two events are independent, this is what we mean by that. Okay, now you just need to move on with your algebra, right? The arithmetic over here. Then you do your calculation, and then you subtract and multiply. We know some of these things already. So here will be what? 11/15. Then this guy has a friend here, right? So let's send this guy to the other side. So that will be what? Minus 1/3, right? Which is equal to, this guy is already there, so that's what 3/10. But look at what is happening. Look at what I've done here. So I have a P of B here as well as a P of B here. So why don't I factor, right, one of them out? Is that okay? Why don't I do that? This is just similar to something like this. Something like, let's say x plus or let's say x squared plus what? X, right? So something like this, right? This guy. So I just need to factor one out. So we left the s plus 1, right? Can you see? So this is just a factorization. So the same thing I've applied in this side, right? So I have P of B on one side and then P of B on the other side. So I needed to factor one of them out, right? So I factorize this guy out. So that's why I brought a P of B out. So here I'll be left with this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. right? Can you see? So P of B will come out. Then here I'll be left with what? 1 minus what? 1/3, and then this guy also goes away. Can you see? It's already out here. Okay. Now when I subtract these two guys, of course I'll get what? 2/5. That should be equal to, look at what's that, P of what? B is here, and then the here to you're having another fraction here, so you just need to subtract. So this is B what? Over 1, right? So you find the LCM, then you move on. That should be what? 2/3, right? So 2/3. Okay, here we know what we are looking for. We are looking for the second event, the chance that the second play will happen. So this here, what do you do? This is also similar to something like, let's say 2 is equal to 3x, right? So 3x. So what we are looking for x, what do? You divide here by 3, and then you divide here by 3, so this guy goes away, right? So the same thing. Don't let the fraction just scare you, right? If you know, you can see the thing is too complicated, just bring it to something very simple that you can see and imagine. So that is it. So here we are going to divide here by 2/3, and then you divide here by 2/3, so that we can have what? Our P of what? B, right? So you can have this event. Is that okay? Okay, so that is very simple. So we are dividing both sides by 2/3, right? So when you divide this, first of all, let's rearrange it, right? So let's the number count in front of the variable, right? So that is how I got to 2/5 is equal to 2/3 PB. I'm not doing anything, I'm just rearranging it, right? Just rearrange it from this point. So here I can divide, so I can proceed and divide now. So we can see that I divided this guy by what? 2/3, and then divide the left hand side by 2. So this is what is happening since it is fraction. So we know how to divide fraction. If you don't know how to divide fraction, what you have to do is that you swap what? The second term, right? The second number, so the second fraction here, then you change this one to a multiplication. What is how we divide what? A fraction. So there's no way you can divide these two guys. So the only thing you have to do is that you change that to something that you already know. So how do you change? So once you change this thing, you have to make sure that you swap, right? You swap this guy upside down. Is that okay? So that will be what? 2/5 multiplied by 3/2. So this guy will give you 6/10. That is what? P of B, right? So when you reduce this, you should get something like 3/5. Is that okay? So this is how simple you have to understand the mutually exclusive as well as an independent event. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, you may consider subscribing to our YouTube channel for more content like this.